Bob asked them how much they paid for this honey. And when he heard the price, he said, no, I will not use this honey. You bought it very expensively. It's not a fair price that you paid because of your love towards me. I do not accept it. I have to take it back. We have another example of this ethical, moment in Islam from the successor of His Holiness Muhammad, which is called Imam Ali, who was the general of Islam and carried the source for the Muhammad to defend the Muslim against the non-believers. In a huge battle he has with one of these infidels, apparently a very huge man. I think his name was Amr ibn Abdawud. This fellow, in a one-on-one battle with Imam Ali, Ali struck him with the sword and he fell off. And Ali went to basically finish him. At the time when he goes there, he spits on the face of Ali, spits at him. Well, the crowd, and the Islam Muslims, soldiers, they were all angry, asking him, kill him, kill him. And Imam Ali didn't. He returned. And then he calmed himself down and he went back, basically, and finished that man. They asked him, why didn't you just finish him at the time when he spit on your face? He said, his action made me angry. And I did not want to kill this man out of anger. It is not a personal vendetta I have against this individual. It is that he is the enemy of the Muslim and he has killed many people and innocent people. I have to kill him on the order executed by the Prophet of God, not for my own personal damages and personal gain. So, gives you example, one of the ethics. You probably have many of these in every nation. One of the most amazing one that all the time I, ponder about is the story of Baha'u'llah. His Holiness was chained, accused of participating in an attack and assassination of the king at the time, because this king killed so many thousands of the Babis that the Bab even was killed. They said, the leader must be Baha'u'llah. They immediately arrested him. And he was taken from northern Tehran all the way to south in a huge dungeon. As he was chained and he was walking through the mob, people watching on both sides along with the soldiers, there seemed a woman, an old lady, trying to break through the crowd and throwing a stone at him, because it was rumored that anybody who throw a stone at an enemy of the king, which they thought the king is the shadow of God, representative of God, therefore that person who threw that stone at the enemy of the king would have, committed a great deed and might go to paradise. See the ignorance of the people. And Baha'u'llah noticed that the woman is trying to runs through the crowd, find an opening. He stopped, halted, and he said to the soldiers, wait. They asked him, sir, why? He said, that woman, an old lady, she likes to throw a stone at me because she thinks this is a great act. And that's all she understands. I like her to fulfill her wish, if that's what she wished to do to me. And Baha'u'llah halted for the woman to throw a stone at him. So there is a lesson in this, for us. And it shows how the principles of the prophets of God and the divine figures are. There's a moral to this story. You know, it's not, there's no moral in the geisha home in Japan. There's no moral in a person to say suicide after failing. It's just an adaptation. God knows why, you know, naturally involuntarily just gone into the nation to do something like that, to understand this is right or this is wrong. There's no moral into it. But when it comes to ethics represented and given by the prophets of God, there's a moral to this story that can lead a person by such act into the realm of their spirituality, becomes a person. One of these ethics, for example, is cleanliness, just this material cleanliness of the body. Abdullah says it's absolutely a material thing to be clean, and it does not have, it's not in the spiritual things, which is material things. He says, however, it has a great effect to the spirit and a spiritual feeling. Why? Because, you know, if you smell good and you're a clean person, past might feel pleasant. If you smell bad and you're not clean, you're bothered individual. That will be a bad act. Somebody is bothered by you. On the other hand, you could make him to feel pleasant and happy. So there are morals and ethics, definitely a place in the Baha'i faith for it, that it will lead to the good deeds. And when I'm talking about deeds, I'm talking about an action that directly produces a spiritual quality, like helping a person in need by your money, by your time, by your personality. She's in need. If you do that, you are immediately giving the material to buy a spiritual product. So this is the main difference. There are words, you know, I found on the internet. They call it consequentialism and deontology. Consequentialism meaning, they say that, you know, whether a moral value and a moral act has a good consequence or not. It should be done if it has a good consequence. In other words, if it is useful, let's just believe in God. If there's no use to it, we shouldn't. And others, you know, I know like Bertrand Russell, I would say no, the truth has to be said no matter what. We cannot, for the sake of making people happy or giving them a false hope, we should not believe in what is not there called God. And this is a group of people that are deontologists. In the faith of God, whether Islam, Christianity, or the Baha'i faith, there are a lot of times the acts does have a consequence. There is no way that anything has been said in the Baha'i faith or other religion to a to-do list of God for us with no consequence. But however, the consequence may not be seen here, in this life, or at this time. Sometimes we do things that apparently has no reason whatsoever now. But it will have a great effect in future. Start something right, it will grow up just like a seed. It takes a long time to come, but it does. When it comes, it gives fruits, because it's the right thing. So in that way, you could say all the religion, they do follow these principles of this today's, you know, taxonomies that they like to give it either an ism or a logi at the end, call it consequentialism. Yes, religions of God, they all have consequence, positive one. And in that matter also goes with the deontologies, because it is the right things to do. God or religion does not carry an ethical principle if it is not right and if it does not have a consequence. However, beware of it that these consequences may not be seen at one time in a planet, might be 1,000 years from now. and or it may not be seen in this world altogether. It may, carry over to the other world. So, I'm going to discuss some of the ethics, to be practical, get out of these discussions that may not be very useful. Go talk about some of these ethical principles that's carried today by the people of the West and the East and all over the place. One of them, for example, freedom. There are people who don't believe in God, they're atheists, but still they believe in freedom, as a result of which we have democracy. And that can result into a lot of things. Free sex, free lot of things. So, we will have to discuss about this. What is this freedom as a principle, as an ethics that people carry? Or philanthropy is another one. Many of the people in the world, that they do benevolences, great things, good things. Baha'u'llah admired them. Those who have money and things like that, and they share it with others and for the good things. But the result of it is very questionable. Sometimes it is not even, fruitful, maybe even harmful. Another new thing that has happened, after, I would say, 1844, when Baha'i faith was revealed, is the environmentalist awareness. Many people, including my favorite actors of Hollywood, Mr. Marlon Brando, was environmentalist, and they're so much into the mother nature business, forgetting Father God. And to the point that it has become a religion, really, right now. We'll have to talk about this in detail. These are all positive things. They do have certain, good things. But because it's not initiated with a proper purpose, and we don't know even what the source of this bad environment is, and we call ourselves environmentalists and, attach ourselves to a tree to save a tree. And we don't know where the source is, where the problem is, where these things are coming from, where do we have to begin to fix. This is my problem with them. I'm going to be talking about politeness, which is one of the greatest things. I admire Japanese and Englishmen, particularly for the mannerism, for the politeness. Politeness is very important. So is the mannerism, which is another one, the conduct and attitudes. Is another principle that's carried by most people in the world. Discipline. Discipline, regulation, personal regulation of a man in his life. As a discipline, a lot of people have. Again, it's questionable because it's Euclidean, it's geometrical.